I wasn't the only
Jay.
late one.
Hey, Jay. Give her a second to come on board.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny, last week on the 15th, I made a note on my roll sheet here for 15 October, except I abbreviated October with an O, and the 5 looks like an S. So when I look at your attendance for Zoom, it says ISO. What did you do? I don't know. Hey, Jay,
Oops.
are you there?
Yeah,
Hello.
sorry.
So I was just saying that when you go about doing this lip sync, it's easier if you write the dialogue out just literally on a piece of paper, just straight across, and then you put your slashes for each syllable, and then find the syllable that is the accent. So in the Daffy Duck one, he's got 2.
No more for me, thanks. I'm driving.
No more for me, thanks. Are you watching my hand? No for me, thanks. I'm driving. And then that's where you get the character to rise. So no matter what it is, pencil, on paper, puppet, that's where you get your character to rise. Can you see, is it big enough?
Yeah.
No more for me, thanks. I'm driving. And then because each one of those little accents needs an anticipation before it, so about 8 frames before it, no more for me, thanks. You do like a little anticipation downwards. I'm driving. And then it'll come out good every single time. How about
It'll
that?
be really funny if a goat like drives, like in animation, it's a goat just driving. It's like someone's teaching a goat how to drive, because I found this video where this clown looking guy said that he will never teach a llama to drive, but it shows that the llama is driving and screaming.
Nice.
It was really funny. I was like, wait, I thought he was not supposed to teach a llama to drive.
They're good drivers.
And then that's when I noticed that the llama drove off a cliff. I was like, wait, is it gonna die? And then that's when I was like wondering, and that's when I got to the next video. I saw that I noticed that the guy doesn't want to step on that turtle, and then the car landed and it showed the llama survive. I was like, wait, how?
Let me show you. Actually, it's not really dialogue. It's more like sound sync in a very, very short cartoon. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Watch this cartoon. I have to stop recording or else I'll get banned. Again, Bird Box Studio, London. Look at that little good thing in the chat. I'll post it in the discussion area of the classroom right now.
I just noticed the dog was rolling down the window. I was like, wait, how did it know? In my mind was like, okay, that is one smart dog.
That's one smart
Right?
dog.
And the guy was trying to get into the car, but I noticed that the lights were on the other side.
Other
I was
car.
wondering,
He's
wondering, go inside, go.
He's getting
And
into the wrong car.
Yeah, but it has a big dog in there.
He's dead. He's dead meat.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
how he didn't try to pick up his groceries. No,
Oh, yeah.
the dog scared him. He's like, what? And then he tried to get into the wrong car. And he forgot to pick up his groceries. So much for being scared out of your wits, right?
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
he became so paranoid and thinks that he could be brave, but didn't pay attention to the other dog.
Right. He didn't even notice. And it's funny that the bigger dog didn't notice all the commotion that was going on outside his own car. But it's funny. I mean, the comedic timing is really wonderful.
It's
So
really
once
funny.
again, the other one was, oops. Oh yeah, time for a donut.
Time for a cup of Joe and a donut.
So
yeah.
time for a cup of Joe and a donut. I would use a medium accent on Joe and a stronger accent on donut.
No more for me, thanks. I'm driving.
No more for me, thanks. I'm driving, and use a soft take on me and then a hard take on driving.
Dang it, 7.
Oh no,
Oh,
you're being attacked. You're being attacked by a vicious dog.
oh, puppy.
What's his name?
7. And oh no, Tank's here. No, no. I was in my room. I had my door closed, but somehow Tank got in.
Yesterday
Um,
I was doing my Zoom, and you can see my screen now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing my storyboard class, and I accidentally brought this up.
Oh,
It's an ocelot, and he's just like the most handsome ocelot I've ever seen in my whole life.
That's what an ocelot looks like. That
Uh-huh.
is so cute.
Yeah,
I thought they weren't real.
he's probably young. He's probably like 6 months or something, because his eyes are still really big.
yeah, and you look really small too.
Yeah, like
Unless
a
they're
kitten.
like naturally small.
Like a kitten.
It looks like
I'm gonna
a
I'm gonna
little
pause the
doll.
recording. I have to take an important phone call. I'll be right with you, okay? I'll be right
Okay.
back. All right, where
Yeah.
am I? All right, and you heard me talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I decided not to talk about it. I decided not to say anything.
Yeah, I had my speakers muted, but I forgot to mute my microphone. That's okay. The longer part of the story is that I've been living in this house for 20 years, and my fiance decided to break up 8 years ago, but we've been roommates for 8 years. And so I don't recommend that. It's not very fun at all. And now that my kids are graduated from college, it's like, okay, now the landlords want to sell the house, and so I have to move. And I was thinking of doing it like as soon as possible. And then I went, uh-oh, wait a minute. I have to kind of have these Zoom classes, like, you know, if you need me, if Jay needs me, I need to be here. And I can't be down for more than like 2 or 3 days. And I don't want to take that chance of like finding an apartment somewhere and then waiting for a week for the internet connection, and then the internet people come in. So I'm going to do it after the semester's over. But I have to do all the notes for it whenever those people are ready. And one of those phone calls was just now, so sorry about that.
That's okay.
Right, back to animation. I think that what Beth was the original director of the stop motion, and oops, I don't know what I did here. Nope, that's not what I don't want. Oh shoot. I think I just accidentally added one of those to my iTunes library. God damn it. What she did is she picked these very short pieces of dialogue from probably a list that was approved. And she knew that there were accents in there. Because one of the worst things you could do as an animator is get a line of dialogue that's just like, well, I went over to my mom's house. You know, if it's really monotone, that's not good for animation. You're always looking for the accents. And whenever you hear that accent, always put an asterisk on the top of that word, and then get your character to rise. Because it's like you're putting the emphasis, you're putting the inflection on that line of dialogue. When I was doing it for my classes, I was always like, Mom! You know, you start out with an accent, Mom, the tooth fairy's on the roof again. And then when you do the phoneme things, it's like O-F-E-M, Mom, the tooth fairies, you got all your mouth shapes in there too. And so the other thing I could recommend is, let me see if I can find a really good, whenever I try to do this on campus, I would always fail miserably, but I'm gonna try to do it again right here. So, oops, I'm not getting it. Let me change this to. All right, I'm close. Let me bring up images. It's close. It's not the one I want. No, I'm not getting. Something must have happened to the internet. The thing I'm looking for, and you can look for it too, is Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
Mm-hmm.
He was, do you know who he was voiced by?
It's been a while. I don't remember.
He was voiced by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh.
I had a printout. The people that I worked with at Wild Brain passed this thing around.
Ow.
Oh, I can't find it. And the irony was that Donnie from the, you know Donnie, he's the dawn of time. He's the caveman. Primitive. He never said anything. He never said anything. It was always like, and he'd go running off and destroy the whole bus. But the irony was that he had one of the most articulate mouth shape charts I've ever seen. You know, there's a whole bunch of really good ones from Preston Blair, Warner Brothers, Disney. You know, they start out with the mouth closed and then the mouth open, and they do the E sounds and the F sounds and the th sounds. Some of them separate the vowels from the consonants. And it makes it a little easier, but Donnie's were incredible. I've never been able to get it in the last couple of years. I thought I had seen a version of it online, but I can't remember where it went. So my advice is to just try it. These.
Oh.
To find it?
I think so.
Post it in the chat.
I have it on the computer in front of me and not on my phone though. But let me see if I can. How do you turn the thing around?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, you know, the best thing you could do, here, send it to my Yahoo. If you're on your computer, just send it to my Yahoo account.
Can do.
I put that in there, BillyB_44. So the other piece of advice is that, so you write the dialogue out linearly. I mean, just right across the piece of paper. Put your slash marks in there for each individual accent. And then on top of it, pick what, like Donnie's, you saw that just right there. Whatever number, whatever letter it is. And then when you hit that part of the frame, just use that shape. Oh my God, you know, and you don't try to hit every single frame. It's not going to work. You can animate lip sync on twos. Mouth shapes can go really fast. People do speak really quickly. Wait a minute, that's not a very nice thing to say. I don't know anybody who deserves to be chopped up and fed to a hungry plant. Quick, what was that from? Wait a minute. That's not a very nice thing to say. I don't know anybody who deserves to be chopped up and fed to a hungry plant.
Oh, I know this one.
Correct. The Little Shop of Horrors.
Ah,
Seymour talking to the plant. You know, that's only 2.5 seconds worth of dialogue, but there's like 40 words in there. And you can't possibly do that on once. You just kind of have to swing it and grace between the shapes.
yeah.
Right? And so just put it on twos and hit the main vowels. Just start with the vowels, and if you do a consonant, get the mouth closed. The best thing you can do is just think about it like a Muppet. Right? Oh my God. See what I'm doing? Oh my God. Right? And you'll be fine. Oh my God. Just think about it like that. Pick the accent, and that's the one where the puppet rises, and you can't go wrong. And I can't believe I just did that on recording. So that's my ancillary lecture for today about lip sync. So just a couple of things to augment for you, because you're here. There's only 20 of you in class, and you two always show up. When 2D animators do lip sync, they have lots of flexibility of moving the shapes around and trying new different things. Some of the best lip sync I've seen in the most recent history is Klaus. Have you seen Klaus on Netflix?
I don't think I've watched it yet. I think it's on my to-watch list.
You need to watch it. The holidays are coming up. It's brilliant. It's done by Sergio Pablo Animation in Madrid, Spain. But there's a Norm Macdonald voices the character for the ferry driver, the boat driver, and his name is Mogans, and his mouth shapes are just so wonderful. Oh my God, you know, and Jesper's mouth shapes are good too. Everything about the film is astonishing, but Mogans, his mouth shapes are crazy beautiful, just really, really wonderful. When you're doing it in 3D, it depends on your puppet. You know, James from James and the Giant Peach, his mouth was really little. His mouth was really little. And this was actually used in the movie, and that's why his mouth is like torn apart.
Oh.
Because there was a little rig in there. And if you remember James and the Giant Peach, there was a shot in there where they're getting into New York, and the peach is flying, and they're about ready to land. But the rhino comes out of the clouds, and James that's his worst fear, is this rhino. And the dialogue read, Paul Terry did the voiceover for that. And the Paul Terry was like, okay, everybody, get up into the rigging. You know, he just screamed it. But little puppet could only do this. The puppet could only do this with his mouth. And so the animators had no choice but to go, okay, everybody, up into the rigging. And they turned James's head away from the camera, because that's all they could do. His mouth can't do anything more than that. On some of the other puppets, like a grasshopper or the ladybug, they had replacement faces. The spider, they could just put a different face in there, and they could have mouth open as far as they wanted, as far as the actual structure of the head of the puppet would allow. And if you're doing it in clay, you can just make the mouth huge if you want. But James, that was very, very restricted. In 3D animation, it depends on your rig. It depends on Maya. You can make that mouth as big or as small as you want. And I think that's why the author, Beth, was kind of suggesting clay, because then you can play with the open shape, especially the ahs and the ohs and the e's. And so don't hold back. Go crazy with it. If you know you're doing it right, if you're having fun with it. And you know you're doing it right if you write the dialogue out, put the slashes through the syllables, hit the vowels first, and then slide through the consonants. That's my best advice to both of you. And I'm recording this, so I'll put this in the classroom. All right,
I'm
Jay,
writing it down.
do you have any other questions? Jay, any other questions?
No. Last time when I was trying to figure out how to put the audio in Dragon Frame, I was panicking a little bit, but then later I actually found out I actually found out how to put it inside.
Right. Hey, look,
I
Noah
just
showed up,
used
everybody.
Google. I used Google to type it in. I typed in how to edit audio or
Right.
sound on the Dragon Frame,
Right.
and when I look at it, I was just like,
Right.
wait, where? And then when I look
And-
at audio, I was like, oh God, I'm so stupid. I didn't know that was there.
And what is it? It says file, import, and you go find the clip.
Well, when I put it inside the Dragon Frame where the audio is, I think it could actually import.
It just import.
Maybe.
Yeah. File, import.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't try it out yet, but I might later when I'm done with the animation.
Yeah. So the other little snippet, I replied to Stephanie because she actually posted her project already, either last night or early this morning, was that there was a very strange thing during we saw audio in 1928 with Plain Crazy, and the synchronization wasn't really too difficult. Because Mickey didn't say a lot of things, and there was an airplane, the airplane would just go flying by. And it was a short film. But by the time they got to 1929 and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Disney had really raised it to an art form. And sometime around that point, what all the animators, all the directors, producers, editors had discovered was that in animation, even though you can, if you really need to, animate, especially in 2D animation, animate the lip sync shapes on ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
That
Mhm.
even at 24 FPS, that's not enough. Because if I'll do the same thing again, wait a minute, that's not a very nice thing to say. I don't know anybody who deserves to be chopped up and fed to a hungry plant. You know, we have got
Oh.
70 frames right there on ones, but like I said, I just said 40 words. And so my mouth is like flapping open and closed, and it would just be a blur. And so they tried to approximate by doing exactly what I just told you. Hit the vowels, O, A, E, A, I, and then roll through the consonants. And when you do that, when they got the audio recording back from Glendale Audio, always, all those studios used Glendale Audio, it would be on the exposure sheet, and it would just go straight down. And it would just say, oh my God, the tooth fairy is on the roof again, just syllable by syllable, on the exact frame. And the animator would know, they would know, just use this shape, A, E, O, F, on the roof. And then it looked okay. But what the animators and directors were realizing is that when you say the word mama, you actually start saying the word mama before your mouth opens. And so just as a test, they took the whole soundtrack and slid it to the left, 3 frames. And it worked beautifully. It worked perfectly. And so from that time, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, all the way up until just yesterday, the editors in animation know, especially if you're doing it in 2D, taking a audio read, to take the dialogue, match it to the animation perfectly, and then when you get it in editorial, slide the audio 3 frames to the left. And now you know. And that came to you through the Disney's Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson's The Illusion of Life, which was written in 1981. But now you know. Now it's different in Maya because you have the audio in Maya and your character is like flapping around and animating around and doing the lip sync as you're doing your animation, you can test it right there. And if it looks funny, you just take your keyframe and slide it to the right. Slide it after the sound. And that's the difference of letting the editor do it or you doing it as an animator in 3D. If you're going to do it in puppet animation, you're probably going to want to follow the exposure sheet, right? That's why it's called X sheet, exposure sheet. And then more than likely, anyone doing editorial for stop motion just knows right out the gate, take the audio, slide it 3 frames to the left. Because the animators all have exposure sheets. And at like James and the Giant Peach, Nightmare, everyone at Leica, everyone at Cinderbiter, everyone at House Special, all the stop motion studios. And I can't remember the one that I'm trying to think of. What's the one that does BoJack Horseman? I can't think of it. If you're doing it in puppets, you're going to get the dialogue read on your X sheets, and you're going to animate exactly to the frame because that's what you're being told to use as an animator. And the editor is going to slide it 3 frames to the left. On top of all of that, there are lip sync animators at those studios who will take a puppet and they'll put a camera right in front of the puppet, and then there'll be a mirror at a 45-degree angle so that the mirror shows the side view of the puppet. And before the X sheet and the storyboard even gets delivered to the animator, they're going to have the X sheets, the storyboard, and a video of the dialogue read so that the animator can't get lost. They have no choice. They know what head to pop on there, what number of what head, or what mouth shape, or if they're doing it by hand, they know how to push it. And once you get into the studio world, they make that part of the process somewhat easier. In Maya, you're just kind of left to do it for yourself. All right.
It's a Shadow Machine. It's BoJack.
Shadow Machine, yes, thank you. And they're doing, Mandy, so you gave me the JPEG, but did you see the website where that came from?
I just Googled Donnie Wild Thornberry's mouth chart.
Mouth chart.
Yeah. It was a little ways down, but
I'm scrolling.
okay, it's on Toonz, toonz.chat.ru. I can put that in the chat.
That would be great. And Noah, you joined us just a little late there. My timing is all confused. I was saying that the irony is that Donnie has the most articulated lip shapes. Did you send it yet, Mandy?
1 sec. There it is.
There we go. So he has the most articulated lip shapes I've ever seen. But the irony is that his voice was done by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, nice.
And he literally doesn't say anything. He's like, and I know you were just waiting for me to make that sound. There you go. All right, and remember, you know you're doing it right if you're having fun with it. None of those dialogue reads are very long. They're all like 3 seconds long or something.
Hmm.
3 seconds,
Something like
3,
that.
4 seconds like that. So if I could give you any little bit of advice, animate handles on the beginning and the end. Have you ever heard that? Has anyone ever heard that?
Yeah.
What's a handle?
Like all the little things like a doorknob or a button.
Nope.
No?
I like the answer, but nope. A handle is a bit of nothing at the beginning of the animated clip where the character's not doing anything. So they're just standing there, 8 frames of nothing. And at the end, 8 frames of nothing, so that you don't just plow into the animation. You could even animate just the character moving very slowly for 24 frames, but do it on 4s. So you've only got 6 positions, and then do the lip sync. And then put a little bit of animation at the end so that it's not just 3 seconds, it's more like 6, but you didn't do any really extra work. The historical detail was that when Henry Selick was directing for Nightmare Before Christmas, he likes to cut on action. And what that means is that he likes to have shots where Jack Skellington is going to go off the screen and then he cuts it. And then in the next shot, he's still walking, but he's walking from the other direction. And he as the next shot is cut, Jack is already moving. And that doesn't happen in every single shot, obviously, but Henry Selick likes to cut on action. And he wanted every single one of his animators, all 25 animators, to animate with handles. And all the animators said, wait, that's extra work. That's like 16 extra frames for every single shot. And Henry knew that it would give the editor a little bit more to work with, because then he could trim and cut and paste and make it as awesome as he wanted. And most of the animators said, okay, Henry, that's what I'll do. And then most of them never did it for the Nightmare and for James and the Giant Peach. Now, I don't know how that carried up to Laika when Henry was directing for Moon Girl and then for Coraline. But normally, and you know, the animator's going to get paid for it, but if you know what you're doing and you know that there's a cut on action, then of course you want to have the character moving while the shot opens. Have the character animate off the screen, right out of the shot. But if the character's not doing anything, more than likely, it's just the animator is just not going to do it. The animator is just not going to give the director and the editor free 16 frames. Unless it's your first job, Mandy, then you have to do what you're directed to do.
Makes sense.
Okay, any other questions, Noah?
Not really. I'm about to dive into it.
No, it's funny. I thought that this meeting started at 2:00, but for some reason I put it in there today at 1. Then I sent a note out, hey, I'm starting. All right, so I have recorded this. I'll put this up in the classroom. Before you, Noah, before you came in here, I was talking about this film right here. So I'm gonna put this in the chat again for you.
Okay.
It's done by a studio in London called Bird Box. And they're just really wonderful, like 1.5 minute shorts. And this one is just a dog barking in the car. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And all of them. So when you're on YouTube, just subscribe to that channel and then go and look at all the other really cool short films that they have. They're really neat. Bird Box.
All right.
All right, you guys, everybody okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Email me if you need me. I am around at this time tomorrow. And I can put you in Zoom. Actually, I think that I have a Zoom scheduled for tomorrow. So if you need me, I think it's set for 2:00.
Okay.
Set for 2:00. Have
And
fun with it.
that's Pacific time, right?
Pacific, yes.
Okay. I'm in North Dakota, so I'm 2 hours ahead of you.
Really? You're in 2 hours?
Yeah.
I'm just one.
Where are you?
Idaho.
Idaho.
Ooh.
San Jose.
You're right with me, man. All right. I'm going to end a recording.